Whew, how's it going? Before I begin, I would like to thank everyone that made this event possible, to my fellow professors, my fellow speakers, and my family. Without your support and encouragement, I would literally not be standing here in front of you today. Growing up as the older sister of a younger sibling with a disability, I was able to see all the ins and outs of everything that happened, from stereotypes to stigma to even day-to-day struggles that happened. As I was a part of her experience, and still am, I discovered that I had a huge passion for working with those with disabilities. I wanted people to see Lauren the way I saw Lauren, somebody that was individualistic, somebody that had unique talents and goals just beyond the disability stigma that everyone first sees. This was the reason why I involved myself into the career of helping with those with disabilities. Little did I know that I, too, as a junior in college, would partake in the very same stigma that I've been fighting to against so many years. When you first meet Lauren, you don't anticipate her to be somebody that has a hearing disability. She is part of the deaf and hard of hearing community. She wears something that's called a cochlear implant. It goes right on her ear, and it is easily hidden by her hair. She is also her speech is indistinguishable. You would not imagine her to be somebody that has a hearing disability. She does not sound or look like somebody who has a hearing disability. Going forward with this, I was able to really dive in and understand, how is she feeling during these things? Was it a physical side of the stigma, which I presumed at first, or is it something that's called concealable stigma? Concealable Stigma by Crocker, Major, and Steele is about how it is a hidden identity that you have that you don't want anyone else to know, so you hide it because it has a social devalue. So originally you would think that a hearing disability would be considered a concealable stigma, and for some it is. Going forward, when I saw and looked at concealable stigma, I was really curious about what the interactions were and how somebody with a concealable stigma felt. Therefore, I researched and found that Quinn and Williams, two researchers, decided to interact and find that concealable stigma, if it is a personal and serious identity that is to you something that makes you you, and you're afraid of other people finding out what it is, you have an increased risk of depression and anxiety and mental illness. That's not great, because a person should be a person no matter what another person thinks. I see that, but I didn't see that at first with my clients working with a nonprofit organization. Lauren is incredible. She is a person that is vibrant and vicarious and adventurous and crazy many times. She unfortunately is not here today, but she will be listening and viewing this over YouTube, and she is literally one of my inspirations. Yeah, she's my younger sister, but she has so many things that I'm looking forward to being a part of her with the future. My interactions with those with disabilities, with my clients, I was able to see that the more experience that I got with them, what made them laugh, what made them cry, what movies they liked, what food they loved, what their day-to-day interactions were, I was able to see that I was able to eliminate my stigma one experience at a time. I got to know them as an individual, as somebody that has an identity separate from the identity that you presume with a disability right away. Yes, at first I saw them as that singular, they have a disability, I have to help them. As I got more and more involved through something called the contact hypothesis by Alport and Cook, I was able to understand that the more experiences that I had, and therefore the more similarities that I had, the more I was able to familiarize and understand where they were coming from, who they were, aside from the identity that they had, transforming my perceptions of them and us into a more inclusive we. This is so important nowadays because for me, that was a pivotal moment in my career, something that defined me and allowed me to be like, okay, I'm okay if I have a stigma now. I'm going to reach out and experience something with that person that I have a stigma against, find a similarity, and connect with them on a deeper level besides just the thing that I was seeing them doing. This is what allowed me to come up with my own personal hypothesis as to how I'm going to conduct my life when I see people. I'm going to take small personal moments that matter, and I'm going to fundamentally change how I view the people around me, one experience at a time, one step at a time. Therefore, I'm planning on eliminating my stigmas through those interactions. I hope to take this plan forward. I want to go on to grad school, research about stigma, research about why and how it happens, research about how stigma and experience can correlate, especially regarding children. Children are our future. They are incredible and silly and weird and amazing, but they're eventually going to be sitting in the seats that you are sitting on today. This is why I want to do this. I want to show and understand why kids do this. If they have a disability stigma, if they don't, if they're afraid of showing their concealable identity or not. These are certain and important questions that I want to drive forward with my research. Some of these questions include, are people afraid to interact with those who have disabilities? If so, why? Are our schools supporting children with disabilities and working towards eliminating them? If so, how? Why? How can we help decrease disability stigma in everyday life? This is where I want to go. This is what I want to do. I want to see if there is some way that I can enhance experience within the school systems to allow those disability and any type of stigma one experience at a time. I want to make sure that kids in schools and even their homes, their families, any interaction that they have, I want to make sure that they feel they can be the very best person and being that they can be, regardless of stigma. Why have that stop them? We don't know all of these answers yet, but I'm determined to find out. Thank you.